Greetings! The name of our show is Ghosts Are Near, where we discuss various aspects of the paranormal and paranormal investigation. I am your host, Keith Johnson, the founder of N.E.A.R, and with me is my co-host, Sandra Johnson, and co-founder of New England Anomalies Research.
Greetings!
And hello to our TV audience, our viewing audience, and our live studio audience. They are out there. Also, at the close of our show, I'm going to invite them all to just come up and parade around and wave to everybody and say hi, and we are here.
We want to prove you're really here.
Exactly. Now, I just want to mention a new book that's just come out, Ghosts of the Past. It's about Alison Osborne and her group's investigation at the old Adelaide jail in South Australia. And I highly, highly recommend this book. It's very easy reading, conversational reading, and you'll really feel like you're investigating the old Adelaide jail in South Australia, an historic prison which we've discussed before. And Alison, of course, has been on our show, Ghosts Are Near, and she's come all the way from South Australia to be on our show. So get a chance, pick up this book, Ghosts of the Past, and highly recommend it.
I'd very much like to visit that Adelaide jail sometime.
Hopefully we'll get there someday. And
we promise, Allison, to win that Powerball.
Right. The foreword is written by yours truly. So, please, a must read. Now this evening, we have some distinguished return guests, Greg Best and Robb Harrington of Oracle Paranormal.
Great to be back.
How's it going, guys?
Great, great.
It's going, been busy.
Yeah. And busy, yes, it's been a busy season.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for having us back. We appreciate that.
Well, we're glad to have you back.
Well, we wanted to have you in the studio.
Yeah, this is nice.
We were sort of kicked out last time because of a certain holiday that will remain nameless.
Yeah, I can never remember the name of that.
Yes, well, what has been happening since we saw you last out in the great outdoors?
Where do we start?
Yeah, right.
Well, Oracle Paranormal is, we take what we've learned throughout the last 10 years and we apply it to helping families understand what's going on in their homes, and that's basically what happened throughout the last, since we've seen you last. We did a couple of cases where they thought they had a demonic entity in the house, and we went there and we did an investigation and we made our suggestions, and the family's happy, and we moved on into another one that almost the same type of case.
Yeah, it was weird because we haven't seen, all the years that we've been doing it, we never really dealt with the demonic side of anything, and it's great to have people like, you guys that, specialize in that, just because if we ever did have a problem, we'd be like, hey, help us out over here. But we actually went in there and we said the only way to, experience this is to go in and do it. So the first case, unfortunately, is our newest episode that's out in Connecticut and Rhode Island, I guess, starting this week. But I showed up, and as soon as I got there, I got sick. I mean,
really?
Yeah, and it wasn't, nothing. I don't think it had anything to do with that. I just ended up with a cold, and I just bummed out that I could not do this investigation. I tried. I did the setup with them, and I knew it was about an hour and change ride home from where I was, and I told our other investigator, my girlfriend Steph, I'm like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I got to go home. And they continued on, and what experiences they had, unfortunately, I wasn't there to share. So my first possible case, like anything like that, I had to back out of. But what was it? 2 weeks after that, 3 weeks, we had an emergency case. It was my first time that we had to actually drop somebody else's case that wasn't potentially. It was probably just a potential regular haunting, that we're looking at, to take on a case where a child, 14 years old, what do you call it, like autism or something, and he was being bothered. He was getting scratches and all kinds of stuff, and so we took that on, and that was an experience right there.
Right off the bat, I was up in the attic setting up one of the cameras, and they didn't have the stairway across. Everybody I had to stand on his back to get up there, but I got up and I was running the cameras up there, and well, somebody was handing me up some equipment, and a pile of stuff that was in the attic just went right over. They heard a growl and they took off while I was up there, and we had some evidence from that home.
Unfortunately, it was the place I really wanted to be was in the attic, and somebody my size don't belong up in that attic. Not to mention, I was, if I got on his back, I probably would have killed him. So I wasn't happy.
I've had that experience.
So would you say that that one or both of the cases truly seemed to be a malevolent entity or an inhuman?
The first one, we believe that I think it was more psychological with the child. We really didn't come up with hardly anything from the case at all, really, pertaining to the case anyway. There was your normal, every place has a certain amount of paranormal activity and there's a certain level, and this was really nothing above normal was going on in there. So, we presented what we did find to the client, and we made our suggestions where to go from there. The child actually was giving off similar, I don't know how to explain it. I had a child that was doing similar things than this child was doing, and he grew out of it, and I conveyed that with the client, and I told him what I did to rectify certain things, and we haven't heard back from them yet, but I'd like to hear back and find out if anything became of that. But the second one,
no news is usually good news,
yeah,
from my experience.
Yeah, the second one, there's a little bit more activity going on, and we did find some EVP, and Carl had the dowsing rods going in the master bedroom, and there was a high level of EMF. It was very confusing because the child was sleeping in a high level of EMF, but yet, just when you think nothing's going on, we'd get a growl or we'd get an audible voice or something like that. So
there is actually a few points that we caught that you can hear the growl, and there was one point throughout the night. Now we kind of had to throw it out at one point because he was going up and out of the attic. There was a scratch that was noticed on his arm out of nowhere. So we chalked it up to maybe him getting it through the attic or whatever. So at one point, the homeowner asked us to actually kick it up a notch and start doing a little provoking to see if we can get something. And that's not our thing normally, but I started doing some heavy duty, getting into it, and sure enough, I got scratched, and that's the first for me. But did I get scratched from something, or was it me walking around possibly bumping it? It was right here on this arm, right on my tattoo. And as soon as it was your brother that mentioned, you're talking about the scratch, and he was doing a prayer at that point, and all of a sudden you hear a growl come right out at that point.
Oh, and that was another thing too. Any kind of religious talk, when I was standing near your brother, Carl, in the room, I would get dizzy.
Yeah,
I was questioning.
I actually watched your show.
No,
I was questioning myself at that point. I allowed it.
Balance for
a while. I allowed it to happen. As long as I could maintain control of it, I allowed it to happen. I wanted to see where it was going, and it went away as soon as he stopped talking. That happened 2 other times. We lost our live feed that night. The battery died in the camera, and we had to continue the investigation. We couldn't find the camera, so some of that went on after the live camera died out because we broadcast them live whenever possible. And the same thing happened in the living room. We went out there, and he started doing it again, and the same thing happened. I'm not a sensitive. I'm not psychic. Nothing of the sort. That was the first time that happened, and it was only when he, gave religious quotes or something.
He
like that.
implemented religious provocation.
Yeah. Yep.
That sometimes obviously have a reaction.
Yep. I was definitely. I was actually at the point where I was putting my hands over the EMF meter to see if I was giving off EMF at that point, just because that never happened before. And like I said, I was looking inward at that point. Why is this? Why am I feeling like that?
And one of the things how that case turned out so far, because it's still a pretty recent case, the child himself would have a hard time sleeping, this and that. Well, the night that we were there, he felt very comfortable, because we had the cameras on him. And Greg actually gave him a little FRS radio, and hanging on his bed, any problems, hey, just hit it and call us in. He slept like a baby. He was out. So we did mention to the parents, just the fact that he's being watched and has a little thing that he can click, might help out a little bit. And sure enough, they went and they bought a monitor and a little radio for him, and that seemed to work. But now, you know, a few weeks later, you know, it calmed down. They said he was a total different boy, but now things are starting to happen again.
I actually got a text message. He got up at 2:45 in the morning, and excuse me, the next day I got a text message from her saying that they went out, they had breakfast. He's a completely different person. They went and bought him the FRS radio, the camera, and it's not going to resolve the issue if he has actual paranormal activity happening in the house, but it makes him, he's comfortable now.
Right.
You know what I'm
Give him a
saying?
little
Knowing
relief.
that he's got that, you know, that.
And you mentioned something about high EMF
Yeah, he was
in his room or around his bed?
right at the head of his bed.
Yes.
It was really high.
And you weren't able to determine the...
Yeah, we went outside,
Yeah,
and the power lines come into the house, and they run right up the wall through the master bedroom and right along his wall.
Right there, yeah.
So we also made the suggestion that they, you know, turn them around.
Good call.
Yeah, well, I think that, you know, with the EMFs, it can work both ways. I mean, we know the effect that it can have on the brain and, you know, that it can produce certain hallucinations and whatnot, but, you know, can also entities feed off of that energy.
Right.
Same thing.
That's something I actually firmly believe that they, you know, they would. If there is a high EMF field, I firmly believe that's where you're going to find some activity, you know, at some point.
Right, well,
And vice versa. I mean, we had that one case that really, we debunked everything as soon as we walked in the door. And one of them was, he had how old was she? 4? A little girl?
3 or 4. Yeah.
So 3 or 4 years, she was barely talking, and they were having a problem with her getting up at night. And every morning, she'd wake up the parents. She was in a crib, and she says, "The wake-up man is here." So she'd have a guy come in her room and plays with her toys and disturbs her sleep and wakes her up. Well, you know, we always, when we do an interview, we walk around the house, check the EMF levels, and, you know, do a little bit of poking around, check the wiring and all that stuff. So we ended up on the child's room, and I walked in the child's room. As soon as I went in there, my K2 meter just pinned. It was at 98 milligauss. It was just
It was
pegged.
way up there, yeah.
As soon as I walked in the room, and I traced it down to a humidifier. And I asked the guy, I said, "How often do you use this humidifier?" And he said, "Every day since she was born." And the humidifier, the water droplets were actually conveying the EMF field right into the crib. It scared me. I didn't even know the girl was in the crib. I put the EMF meter right in the crib, and it was pinned. And they've been using that since the girl was born. So.
No, we never heard back from them, so that
No.
was, yeah.
So. Even, I mean, a lot of these cases, sometimes, you know, they don't even turn out to, you know, need an investigation. We go and we debunk everything right there. And
Not
either way,
paranormal at all.
Yeah.
Just
but it's
the
good that you do
humidifier.
go into
Yeah.
all these things out.
either way, it works out great because, I mean, you know, we're in it for the research, but we're also in it for helping the families. And even if it's going and tucking a family in the bed, saying there's no monsters here, there's none in the closet,
Yeah,
it's effective, and that's
Right.
what we, you know, we like
Yeah,
doing.
bed tucker in his.
Bedtime stories.
Under the bed
Breaking
checkers.
Yeah, they don't want us reading though. They're like, what's that word?
But a lot of times, you know, people, you know, they hear something and they get, because they don't understand what it is, and, you know, sometimes it's just physics playing tricks on us, and
Yeah.
they associate it with the paranormal, and, you know, it takes somebody experienced to go in there and show them the equipment, say, this is what this does, and that's not what this is, you know, and then they understand it, that the house creaks, you know, the pipes rattle, and it's effective either way, so.
Now, you brought us some very fascinating video clips the last time around, and I understand that you have some to show us this time.
Continuation.
and
Maybe the
if you
first
could-
time I see them too, so.
Yeah, these are hot off the computer. This is, I mean, unedited. I just dumped all this video. I just noticed a few things, so you guys got definitely the first airing of this material, and
Feel honored.
We'll debut
have
on
no clue.
Ghosts or N.E.A.R. We'll have you know.
yeah, we have no clue what else there is to find in here. We're still going over the evidence, the DVR, the audio. We did find a couple things here and there, but these clips are, it's kind of a continuation of the last video that we showed here, where we had the flashlight going and we were interviewing through the flashlight. We tried to further interview. Main thing is to regain that contact and then do a further interview and find out who moved the straw and stuff like that at the bar from those clips that we had before.
So the clips that we'll, or some of the clips that we'll see now, they're the same location, but different.
Yeah, this is
different
Mott's
day.
Big River Inn. It's the same location. This was our third visit.
Third visit there, yeah, correct.
And it's still yielding results. It's an unbelievable
Every
place.
time you go there, you
Yeah.
get something.
This is one of the places.
spot.
I mean, we're trying to get out. I was just talking to Rob about this. We've got a lot of experimental equipment, but we don't apply this when we do an investigation to help a family. It's not the time to play with equipment. We go in there to diagnose. So we got to get a few investigations going where I can actually apply this equipment to. And
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, he's constantly, well, between him and his father, I mean, they're just geniuses when it comes to electronics. I look at it, might as well just give me a bowl of spaghetti because we get more out of that, you know.
he didn't do too bad though. He built that static meter.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, but you built it and it looks good.
But it looks really good.
That might not be your fault though. It could be defective
I spent
electronics.
like, I don't know, hours and hours soldering this thing up. And
It's
Yeah, it
a
looked
work
good,
in
though.
progress.
I was so excited. I turned it on, it lit up, and it smoked. And I was like, not my thing.
Gotta start somewhere, right?
Yep. No, he did a really good job building it though.
Yeah, real good.
But you know, some of this equipment I really wanted to apply to this investigation, but we kind of got preempted, and it was just a little bit off the hook. We didn't even start until probably an hour and a half later than we wanted to, and we wanted to start at 1 in the morning. So, and this is one of those investigations where the client knows the home's haunted, he's not afraid of it, it doesn't seem demonic, so we can go in there and we can set up a few experiments. I just didn't have the time between the live broadcast and setting up the cameras, and we were very, very busy right up to the last second. And by the time the patrons left the downstairs, we had just enough time to set up 2 cameras real quick. We had an experiment where on the last clip that you guys saw, we saw the straw lift up off the bar.
Right.
So what we did was we lined up a bunch of straws and we put a camera at a down angle on one side and straight across on the other side, and we shot a laser beam across the top of the straws, and they were black straws. So if one of them lifted up, it would either break the beam or you'd see the beam hit the straw.
Right.
So we wanted to be in total control over that environment. The last time we kind of had the menu in the way when that straw lifted up.
Yeah. So we have footage of that?
That's on the DVR.
Okay.
Not out yet.
Okay.
Your next appearance.
Right.
Very soon. So maybe we can run that first clip and the name of the location.
Thoughts was, I wonder if just the air coming out of Jared's nose was enough like that.
Right. Yeah, we,
I'd look to see if he was exhaling heavily or anything. He wasn't. But exhaling heavily or anything. He wasn't. But exhaling heavily or anything. He wasn't. But
What the heck was that? Was that from you?
I wasn't moving.
I didn't see him move, actually.
it sounded to be behind you. It's a bottle cap.
The bottle cap, but I didn't move.
Yeah. Was that you trying to get across to us?
Getting close. Come on in.
Yeah, keep coming.
Come on, sit down.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
All right, in that clip, what had happened was, if you listen closely, you'll hear, I think I replayed it in that clip, I'm not sure, but a bottle cap, Steph, our investigator, was filming it at that time, and you'll hear a slide, and then a half of a drop, and then a slide again, and then a complete slide, and you hear the bottle cap hit the floor right next to Steph. So we got objects moving again. Unfortunately, we didn't have a camera
On the camera
aimed
person.
on the camera person, so.
Well, from my angle,
That's
where I
just
was
the
sitting,
audio.
I had obviously good, this is only me saying this, but I seen Steph, when it happened, she had the camera on the monopod, which was up, and her hand was on the bar, just trying to stabilize herself. And the bottle cap came from behind her. We went and actually found the bottle cap after. And we thought it was kind of weird. I mean, if I could, this case just happened a couple weeks ago, so it's still, some of it's fresh in my mind, but a lot of it's not. I wish I could sit there and remember exactly what was asked before that.
Yeah, well, that's
It
why
was
we
really
document.
late.
Oh yeah, but that's why we document everything. I mean, our cameras never stop from the time we go in there. Whoever has a camera rolling stays rolling. You get tired, you hand it off to somebody else, and just for that purpose. I mean, everything's documented as much as humanly possible when we do these investigations, just so that there's no, you can see there's no monkey business. We broadcast live whenever possible, so the live camera will be set up. You can see us setting up. We're not putting strings on anything or nothing like that. So everything, you know, we were contacted by Sci-Fi Paranormal Files, Fact or Fake, and he asked if I would take a polygraph. I said everything on our site is 100% real, and any of my team members will take a polygraph. We take it.
Absolutely.
You know, you'll see us goofing around a little bit. You know, on an investigation, it's 8 hours. We're there. We make light of things sometimes, and but we do take it very seriously, and there's no pranks going on and anything like that. We investigate. After that scene, they got up and they looked around. Like I said, they found the bottle cap and just make sure there's nobody playing games with you behind the bar or whatever. Right. You know. So we.
And the great part about it is the camera angle that Steph is taking. The only people in that part of the bar is myself.
Right in front of the camera.
Yeah, Dave Grist, who's here tonight, and Peter Battenarrow, our other investigator, and obviously Steph, who's filming. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, is it anything? Who knows? But it was something though, you know, out of the quietness of the night, if you will.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, well, can we get on to the next clip?
All right, the next clip, as you may remember, the last clips that we showed you with the flashlight interview, I left completely uncut, just so you could see I wasn't touching the flashlight or anything like that. And we interviewed a spirit entity, just unbelievable coincidence for 20 minutes straight. Whatever it chalked up to be, it started happening again on this investigation, and we tried to further our interview through the flashlight when it came on. As soon as we noticed we had contact, we started working with it again. I asked if we were making contact with the same person we left off with, and it gave a yes response. I also asked, were you the one that left the attic and went downstairs and moved the straw last time? And I also got another yes response, which is kind of what we figured, because that was the last words were, if you can leave this attic, you're welcome to come downstairs with us. And you can hear us in the background coming down from that investigation as the straw lifted off the counter.
Okay, well, let's take a look.
If you're the woman that we spoke to before, come over here and turn this flashlight on, however you did that before. Can you do that for me again? Oh my God.
Oh, there it goes.
Thank you.
And it moved.
Good.
I didn't
swear to
touch
God,
it. I'm not
it's
anywhere
rolling
near
now.
it.
It's moving right now.
Zoom in on that, Dave. You on there?
I'm on it.
Okay, if that's you, can you please turn that back off so we can communicate? I can't believe it happening again.
Yeah. Is that my flashlight or yours?
I don't know.
I need a flashlight.
I can't tell the difference.
It looks to be the one nearest to Rob.
Nearest to me.
Can you turn that off for me?
Which is zoom on top?
Yeah.
See if I can find it.
Turn it off. I know, get used to working with it again. Excellent, thank you.
Okay, so now there's one more clip from that location.
Yep.
And is this more of that particular technique?
Yes, it's more of the same with the flashlight. We're getting some more responses. It's just a kind of a continuation of that one.
Okay, let's take a look at that one.
Are you the one that moved the straws up downstairs? Last time when we left this attic, and I said, you're welcome to come downstairs at the bar, and we had a straw on the bar, it was you.
Go figure.
Can you do that again? Well, shut the light off for me so we can, I want to try and have it move them now, you know?
Right.
Come on, you can do it. Shut that light off.
You actually seen a straw lift. Did it lift or roll or move? So the light disappeared on one of the straws anyway. He caught it. So
Yeah, I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah, it'll be on the DVR. I was trying to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, the straws aren't perfectly.
You gotta shut that off so I can ask another question. Come on, try harder. Whatever you're doing, do it a little bit harder, because it's working. It's going off.
all the way off.
You gotta put it all the way off, though. Come on, do it. Use my energy if you have to. You can do it.
Excuse me, I'm burping over here. Come on, you can turn that light completely off.
It's gotta go all the way off. All the way. Come on. There you go. Nope. Lost it.
Trying to see if I can see the
Struggling with
turn.
it. Come on, shut that off. There you go. Are you the one that moved the straw at the bar last time? Can you do that again for us? If you can leave this attic and go down there, can you move that straw for us? There's 4 of them. They're black. There's straws. They're little tubes on the bar downstairs. Was that you that did that? Yes. It's twice now.
Okay.
Wow. And in our last couple of minutes, let's show some from the SLATER Mill site, your recent investigation with us there.
With yours truly.
Right, exactly. This is their witness, the SYLVANUS Brown House.
This is where the wakes were held, the funerals, and also the weddings and celebrations.
This is just where everything.
Right. This is the main room.
All right, once again, we have another device here that may seem frightening a little bit. It's making a lot of noise. It's lit up. I understand it probably scares you a little bit. But if you talk, we'll be able to hear you right now as soon as you say it. So is there anybody here that is with us tonight?
People.
Can somebody say hi? Can you say hello again? One thing I noticed with this, the longer it runs, a little bit, it seems to get a little bit better. Yeah, think around?
The better they come in here.
Yeah, the better it comes in. It seems like it takes a little while. That sounds freaky.
I'm dead.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Dead. It seems like it takes a little while. It seems like it takes a little while. Can you repeat that? What did you just say? This one usually does some other thing. What's my name? Can you say Rob?
Rob. Rob. Rob.
Can you say Rich?
Do you know who I am? Can you tell us who this house belongs to? 'Cause
Evidently the Jonas Brothers own it.
Which Jonas brother owns the house?
Say Greg loud and clear so we know you hear. So once again, it's one of those things that you don't think we're getting anything, and when you go home, you analyze it, and there it is. Cool stuff. I just say, hey, Greg. You say hi to Greg?
Wow, that was certainly interesting. Guys, I really want to thank you for coming down again. We'll definitely have to have you on our show again because you've
Absolutely.
got
Having us.
endless footage you're always accumulating. And, that was very, very interesting. And we have our wonderful studio audience here.
They're really here.
See,
They're
they are
standing
here.
right
They
here.
are
We
here.
have a real studio audience, we'll have you know.
Guys, again,